Guys, I have been blessed. Cimo shouted out TC Rewind in the comments because in his recent History of Jank video, him and MBT both use decks from my website. These are decks that I made either myself or tweaked, I guess. But yeah, like one of them I definitely invented, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, wanted to do a reaction video, make sure we kind of see that they're giving the decks justice. Just know the intent of this video is not to like flame them for their misplays, although that's exactly what I'm doing. It's mostly so like you as a viewer can kind of watch and learn like how to maybe play these decks better or play the 2011 format better, because 2011 is a fantastic format. If you haven't played it, give it a shot. It is far and away the best retro format in existence. And that is a completely objective opinion. So yeah, anyway, yeah, so appreciate the shout out they gave on the channel in the comments there. So yeah, this is a good time. So if you're a new viewer, make sure you hit that subscribe button, or if you're a returning viewer and you're not subscribed, just hit the subscribe button. It doesn't hurt anything. I'm trying to release frequent content for you guys, trying to grow this channel. Haven't been doing it too long, but I'm pretty proud of where we're at so far. So yeah, we just hit 100. Let's try to get to 150. Let's make that push. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get into watching these guys play these decks.
Countless champions have been crowned throughout the history of competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! But what about the underdogs, the dark horses, the decks that upon first glance make you question everything you thought you knew about the game? In this series, both MBT and myself will be showcasing some of Yu-Gi-Oh's wackiest unsung heroes. Each episode will feature new decks, new strategies, and the results will be unpredictable. You've seen the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! But this is the history of Jank. If you want 5% off any singles or...
We don't need all that. We don't need all that.
The history of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or history of Jank, you know that it's one of my personal favorites, and that's because almost exclusively of its low price point. At a time when
I made this deck, all right? I actually, ironically, I think it either was a History of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or History of Jank episode that inspired me to look into Battery Man, because I think they played it, and I realized that I had completely missed it when building the library, and I was like, like some of these cards are actually not that bad. Like Battery Man AAA is pretty decent in 2011 just because it's a one card rank 4. Like the rank 4s aren't like super like incredible in the format, but like they're good enough where like at least this card actually sees some viable use. And then honestly, Micro Cell is like just a really, really good card. Like it's really strong. And then yeah, even adding things like Tour Guide just to add like a nice little chaos engine. The deck really didn't feel that bad. Another spicy tech is Glow Up Bulb for a couple of reasons. One, if you flip a Micro Cell and special summon a AAA, you can normal the Glow Up Bulb and you can synchro into Librarian and then Glow Up Bulb and synchro with the Micro Cell for the draw too. So like Librarian plus Formula. That's pretty cool. Also, if you like have Glow Up in Grave and you normal summon AAA and bring back another one, you can make a Trish play. So there's like a lot of weird synergies that this deck can have and can do, which I think is pretty cool.
Dark Arm Dragon was taking names, Batteryman Industrial Strength looks similar if you squint your eyes. We're now entering a time when Dino Rabbit starts taking names, and if you squint really hard, Batteryman AAA is kind of similar to Rescue Rabbit.
This isn't the era of Rescue Rabbit quite yet. Like, technically Rescue Rabbit was in 2011, but this build would be for, like, the YCS Columbus card pool and era. So we're not really working with Rescue Rabbit quite yet. Rescue Rabbit isn't typically included in the format. Like, Photon Shockwave as a whole isn't included because of the fact that Rescue Rabbit, like Dino Rabbit as a whole, was so overpowered with, like, priority. It just like completely warps the meta where like it goes from a very balanced and diverse scene of like you can play pretty much anything as long as you're like a good player, you'll probably succeed, to I'm gonna lose to Dino Rabbit if they go first, right? Because you can't even Veiler it because of priority. So it was like, it was a whole mess. So yeah, that's typically not included. But yeah, I wouldn't compare this card to AAA. I think it's more of like a Blackwing Blizzard or something like that. It's a more realistic thing. You're bringing a monster back from grave on a normal summon.
near hits all come together to form a deck that is pretty cohesive and very strong. It's got really sick payoffs like a Monster Reborn that's not a once per turn, and a double Call of the Haunted. That said,
Adam's
the deck
emergency
never
call.
saw the mainstream competitive success that would be necessary for us to take a look at it at History of Yu-Gi-Oh!, but it was a local legend, and for that reason, it's perfect for this series. Now, I will just come clean, this is probably a little early to be looking at Battery Man. The deck really comes into its own, especially the AAA build, when it's able to make powerful rank 4 Xyz monsters like Constellar Omega. A bunch of options that this deck, and only this deck,
That's
has
true.
access to. As of now,
It really needs the Searcher card from like 2014. It's like Power Cell, I think, or something like that. That card, honestly, you could like throw that card in 2011. It would make Battery Man like way better, and I don't think it would make him OP at all, and it would be totally fine. That card I think came out too late for this archetype. If it actually came out in this era, it would actually make Battery Man pretty good. But yeah, we don't need to hear much more. Let's go on. Let's see what Cimo's doing.
My atrocious performance piloting Laval, if you want to call it piloting, I deserve to be in the Jank tank again. But this time, somehow, Joseph and I decided that we can play Dragunity in History of Jank. This is a weird one, right? Because, I don't know, Dragunity, like, you look at this deck and this seems pretty competent. And while, yes, like, when you look at it in the
this actually is a competent list. This list is based on Fraser Smith's build that topped a YCS in like March 2011, so a slightly different format at the time. That was like before the release of like BLS and some other things. So the only like modifications I made is I think he was running Oppression, and because it was illegal at the time, and then I swapped that out for Emptiness. Emptiness is like less good than Oppression, especially in this format. It becomes like Insane way later, but it's really fragile in this format, so it's really not that big a deal. That's why there's only like one in here. But yeah, it's like loosely based on that, but this build is honestly not that bad. On my tier list video, I put it at like tier 1.5. So like and like honestly, you could make a case for this deck being tier 1. The only issue with it is it just gets wrecked by hand traps. Like hand traps really hurt it. And you really have to maintain Ravine and also see Ravine for the deck to function. Without it, it's not very good.
context of the rest of the meta at this time, this wasn't what was really winning, but it's still a pretty decent deck, all things considered. It's crazy to me that a deck with like 11 monsters is just this good. And I guess when you count Ravine and Terraforming, it's a bit more. It's just, this is my first time piloting this, and I hope that I do not do as poorly as I did when I played Laval. So the deck
Nordics. But honestly, this deck's pretty easy too. Like, if you're a beginner at like retro Yu-Gi-Oh and you want to play 2011, like honestly, this is a great starter deck because like the plays are not very complex. Pitch the worst card in your hand, add ducks, normal ducks, make a level 8 synchro. That's the whole deck, really. There's some other cool plays you can kind of do, but that's pretty much it. And that'll get you pretty far, honestly. Like, it's not that bad.
deck centralizes around Dragon Ravine, a power
They talk about these decks so long, boys. All right, let's see what we got.
sponsor from your deck to your hand. Actually, one of the deck links, 8 at our double as into this one. In all fairness, this is like 2 decks that would actually maybe see competitive play compared to next episode, which is going to be an absolute clusterfuck. But even so, both of these decks, they're a bit janky.
Yeah, I was going to say, you opened this like, oh god, how could... These are completely normal decks. You would expect to see these at the local level. Even at the regional level, you just wouldn't expect to see them in like top cut of a YCS. I personally liked Battery Man for a number of reasons. It's kind of a schoolyard staple around Teledad time, just because industrial strength kind of reads like Dark Arm Dragon. You can't look at AAA and not kind of think that it's Rescue Rabbit. I think the deck is defensible. Yours is not bad either.
Yeah, I think mine is also defensible, considering it's just got this nice little like recursive loop that just constantly
Fun fact, all the deck lists on the TCG Rewind website, where these guys have pulled these decks, all of those decks are actually like fully tested against the meta. I like spent a lot of time working on like even the jankiest of decks, like for example ice barriers or something like that. I wouldn't list it on the website if it wasn't actually like winning to a certain degree against meta. Like granted, like some decks like that I put in like the lower tier on my tier list video, those are typically like they're not going to win a ton, but they can like pull some games off or maybe even pull a match off of like a meta deck, but it's like a little harder. I would say Battery Man is one of those decks where it's like a bit harder, but they certainly can win. But I wouldn't have included a list if I thought it was just like really bad against the meta and just like hard loss. But that's the beauty of this format. It is so diverse. There are so many different decks you can play. And if you're a good player, you can make any of them work.
Generates advantage, but like it's not like what people would expect. I don't know. It's a bit of a weird one, at least when you look at it in the context of like what else was considered meta around this time. And so I think we're going to be able to show off why that is in this episode. So let's shout out the patron, TJ Starman. Thank you for the support, buddy. You got the hand up.
Oh, I have got the hand up.
I got even.
It's odd.
Oh, okay. Well, we lost that one. I rolled the die. What was your logic?
My logic was he's going to think I'm going to go even. But I thought from the perspective of the die, you know, you really got to get in the head of the cube.
Exactly. You know, and for watching Prague, you should know that trying to get one step ahead of your
That's an awkward hand.
Gonna work.
Yeah.
Right,
It's like really close to being good though.
Opener. Okay. This is not super sexy, but I'm gonna normal summon Thunder King Ryo and pass.
This isn't
That's
a battery man. Why are you playing this?
He's a Thunder. He's like, look, there's even electricity on the card.
I guess.
He's more of a battery man than Gores was an.
So actually, the reason why Thunder King's included in this deck is because Industrial Strength says that like to summon it, you have to banish Battery Men, but its pop effect just has to banish a Thunder. And Thunder King is already phenomenal in this format. It's like one of the best cards in the format, if not the best card in the format. So it's definitely worth splashing in, and it's actually like really good with Industrial Strength.
An alien, I'll tell you.
Also, that Duck's top deck,
that I will agree with. At least
that
it's the
like
same
saves
type.
Cimo's hand.
All right,
That makes his hand
one.
nuts.
Ryo's a fucking asshole. What am I
He is
gonna
a
do about
jerk
this?
off.
Okay.
Like this is so good because he has Book of Moon, right? Like Book of Moon outs the Thunder King and allows this allows him to completely play his hand. Like normally this Thunder King would actually be a really tough thing for Dragunity to deal with. But this Book of Moon really salvages the hand and really salvages the play.
I think I can deal with it though. I am going to activate Dragon Ravine. I will activate Ravine to pitch Terraforming.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm not obviously going to add. Instead, I'm going to dump Dragunity Phalanx to the graveyard.
Yep.
I will normal summon Ducks.
That's really good, and that's fine.
I will activate Ducks.
No response.
I will equip Phalanx to Ducks.
No response.
I will use the effect of Phalanx to special summon itself.
No response.
See, this is actually really, really smart by Cimo. He actually made a really good play here, and that's to like summon the Ducks and go through all those steps. Because if, for example, MBT had a Veiler or something in his hand, he would probably be hesitant to use it because he knows that he can just 1-for-1 the Synchro monster that Cimo tries to make. So like he's really under no pressure. He's like fully like prepared to interrupt this play. So like most players would hold Veiler or even Max C here. Like they're not going to use it. So like this is really smart. He goes all the way to this point, and then I'm assuming he's just going to slam that Book of Moon because that makes the most sense.
And we'll put him in defense. So funny enough, because Dragunity Ducks has an effect that we never read, it actually is at 1900. I wish Dragon Ravine was a Dragunity card. That would be quite good.
I'm a little glad it's not.
Yeah, I instead, though, will book your Ryo.
Ooh. Oh, you spent all this time making me think I would get a Synchro out of this one.
I also just want to make sure you didn't have Veiler. We're going to bring out Vajrayana.
Oh, wow. You really got that one right on your first try. Vajrayana's fine.
I will use Vajrayana's effect.
That's fine.
Let's equip the Phalanx.
Dragunities have such weird names.
This is fine, right?
But honestly, the artwork on them are really cool.
No, it's a soft once per turn, so I can do it again.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so now I'm just questioning. So I can use Vajrayana to double its attack, which does nothing. So instead, I'm just going to declare to resummon it. This will give me another tuner. So I can go into an 8. Question is there any good 8s I want to go into? I'm going up against Battery Man. Like, what's the worst that can happen? I guess we'll find out momentarily. We'll just sync up. I'm just going to make Stardust, honestly. I don't know what else to make.
Honestly,
I'll just
fine.
kill Ryo. Yeah, it's like, it's okay. I'll just set one, throw it to you.
All right, stand by main. Ooh, that's a really strange draw. I'm going to activate Foolish Burial. I am going to send Charger to grave.
Frightening. Okay.
I will activate Charger, targeting Charger.
So, Charger only triggers on normal, but the problem is you could potentially just buff him to get over Stardust. I'm going to Dark Bribe this.
Whoa, I'll draw.
I'm not really a fan of that Dark Bribe. One, Charger's a 3 of in this format, so there's like a high probability that MBT could have a second one, right? Especially if you're giving him an extra draw. And then the other thing, like, the main reason why Dark Bribe is actually in this deck is to protect your Ravine. Like, Ravine is your life source in Dragunity. You want to always have the option to pitch a random card in your hand, make a level 8 synchro. That's like all this deck wants to do all the time. So you want to keep Ravine alive as much and as long as possible. And that's what's really going to keep you winning. Like, in reality, like, the pressure of playing against this deck is trying to get rid of Ravine so your opponent stops making plays, right? Because, like, even if you stop, like, the first synchro summon, if they can just do it again on the next turn, like, it really feels bad. So, like, there's a lot of pressure that comes from Ravine. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of Dark Bribing here. I don't really think, like, if he ends up outing your Stardust, like, who really cares? Just make another one, right? Like, you have all the resources to do that as long as Ravine stays alive, especially because Dark Bribe could prevent you from getting trapped on your next turn. If he's burning resources to out the Stardust.
Draw a card.
Yep. Please don't have a second Charger.
All right, so enjoy my once per turn.
Yeah, there it is. See?
Fuck! Yeah, okay. Like, if you have a way to kill Stardust, I always had to try to protect it. Okay, let's see what you got.
Not super exciting. We're going to tribute Charger for Charger here. I'm going to activate Charger. We're going to summon a monster from deck. I think I like Fuel Cell here.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So Fuel Cell can tribute a monster to bounce your Stardust. Or, I mean, I guess I could just walk in. My Charger is at 24 right now. Okay, that seems
It's
really
24. You're a little bit light.
All right, in that case, we will tribute the Charger to bounce the Stardust.
All right, and that's exactly why I wanted to bribe, because I knew you'd get tribute fodder. I'll take the 21.
All right, back to you.
We'll draw. Okay. Still have this Ravine, which is nice. So I probably have to fire it. Hopefully that works. I'm going to pitch Solemn Judgment.
That is fine.
This time we're going to add a Dragunity, and I guess we just go for Ducks.
Yep.
We'll normal the Ducks, try to trigger.
Yep.
Okay, let's get the Phalanx. I'm just going to skip a step here and special summon if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll sync. Let's go for Vajriana number 2.
Yeah.
Vajriana.
Yep.
Let's go like this. Then, well, I can just go exactly where I was before and just make Stardust again. Like, that seems okay.
Seems decent.
Until you just, like, find a way to summon Fuel Cell back, and then we're just back to square one. Yeah, like, I don't really think there's a better option, in all honesty. I'll just fucking do it again. Why not?
Not bad.
I'll
Already
do it again.
normaled, which is annoying. Yeah, we'll just hit.
I'll take 4 here.
Main 2, I'm gonna Avarice.
Oh! That's so crazy. Oh, man, that is...
Probably should have done this first in case I draw, like, something good, but I don't really... I already normaled, so I don't really think... okay. Well, maybe I should have. Whatever.
So, actually, he definitely shouldn't have, shouldn't have, like, played anything else. Like, even if he would have drawn that Monster Reborn, like, before battle phase, you don't really want to, like, smash it. You already have board control with Stardust Dragon, right? And also, if he has an extra monster, he can swing in and attack directly, which means that MBT has a chance to drop Gores if he's running it. And if you're not playing around Gores in this format, you can get heavily punished, right? Like, if he drops Gores, it outs the Stardust on his next turn, and it puts him in, like, an awkward spot. But if he doesn't give him the direct attack now, on the next turn he can just make a Scrap Dragon, and then he can attack directly, and then in main phase 2 he can pop the Gores if the Gores get summoned. So, like, it plays a bit safer if you just kind of pre-plan ahead a bit instead of trying to, like, just full commit and try to do as much damage as you can. There really is no rush to do damage. Like, board control is really what matters in this format, as well as card advantage. So if you can maintain board control and then try to, like, swing in and, like, chip at the right times, you're going to be way better off at winning your games. Hey guys, editing Tyler here. Real quick, I just wanted to say that I'm aware that MBT's list doesn't have gores in it. Obviously, I made it, but I just wanted to explain this because in the format of 2011, it is really, really important to make sure you're considering gores and playing around it. I don't know if Cimo knew MBT's list, but I do think it's something you always want to have in the back of your head of if you're playing against a deck and they have an open field, be conscious of gores because that'll really make or break your games. It makes a big difference when you allow your opponent to gores, because in reality, if you're playing smart, you're allowing your opponent to gores at certain points when you're ready to deal with it.
I'll pass. Go ahead.
Stand by me.
I'm definitely in the kill range for battery man. That's for sure. Oh, not now.
No.
All right, we'll draw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're getting somewhere. So the problem with going Avarice on a full 5 engrave is that I no longer have ducks in rotation, and that's or not ducks, what is it, phalanx. So that's the only issue with the way that I did this. It's not the end of the world, obviously, but it's just not great. Okay, so the problem I'm faced with now is that you are playing Batteryman and you set a monster. And there is one monster in particular I'm quite afraid of that being, and so I sort of want to do everything in my power to make sure that that monster does not flip face up. The problem is Stardust Dragon is not exactly ideal for that situation. So thinking if I have a way that I can work around this. And I do think I have a way, but it's a bit convoluted. But I will give it a shot. I'm going to go Ravine. I'm going to pitch another copy of Ravine.
Sure.
I'm going to get ducks back into, or not ducks, I keep calling it ducks. I'm going to get phalanx back into the graveyard.
Yeah.
I'm going to normal summon Dragunity Legionnaire. We've not seen this one yet. I will use the effect. I will get the phalanx equipped. Sadly, this does not destroy face downs. It has to be face up monsters.
Right.
But we can still use the phalanx to get it into our regular monster zone, so it's fine. So I could go for a 5. The problem is the 5s aren't exactly equipped to deal with the board. So the alternative is to reborn your Batteryman fuel cell.
Oh my god. Yeah?
We're going to take this. We're going to sink these off for an 8. We're going to make Scrap Dragon.
Yep.
Declare Scrap. We'll pop this in Ravine.
Wait.
Yep.
No!
It's AAA.
Don't pop the Ravine! You literally just pitched a Ravine, and you popped your Ravine for this Legionnaire. What happens if MBT is able to out your board on your next turn? You just lose. Because you don't have your life source. You cut off your only way to, bring stuff back. What is this Legionnaire doing for you? Again, if you're swinging in here, you're really risking gores as well. So, this is all, really sketchy. I think best case scenario here is if I would pop the Legionnaire and then swing in for 25 with Stardust and then pass. I wouldn't even attack with the Scrap Dragon, because if he has gores and he drops on Scrap Dragon, it hurts. If he doesn't have gores, if he does have gores and he drops it on the 25, then you can just attack over the gores and it's not a big issue.
Okay, so it wasn't even what I was afraid of. And I think I am 100 off of lethal with this.
Oh boy. I don't know how I'm coming back from this one. You're literally
100 off lethal. Unbelievable. All right, go.
Stand by main.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna normal AA.
That is fine.
We'll summon AA.
That's fine.
Order was so bad. So AAA can summon from hand. So if I had drawn them in a different order, I could have made a 4 last turn and a 4 this turn, but I didn't. We're gonna make Zen Maester.
It's so bad.
I'm gonna guess he's gonna misplay this card right now.
Let's activate Zen Maester. We'll target the Scrap Dragon.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Yeah, so Zenmeister, if you don't know, it can only target monsters on your side of the field. Its actual purpose in this deck is because of the fact that you can make normal AAA to get another AAA. In the event that you have a microcell set, you could flip microcell special from deck, and then you could use Zenmeister to reset the microcell, and then it'll reflip and get another special from deck. So it just can kind of flood your board if you want. Rare scenario, but Batteryman really doesn't need extra deck space. In all reality, it's not it's not as tight as other decks. So it's worth running, I'd say. But yeah, this is not the purpose. Basically, no rank 4 can really save him outside of if he had Dark Hole, he could Utopia crash into Stardust and then Dark Hole. And then pray that his opponent doesn't top a monster.
Okay, he's down.
Go to combat. My 2200 attack point monster will attack in.
Sure.
Second main, I will set 1 card and pass it back to you.
Standby, I will space the back row.
You're fucking with
top deck.
me!
That was insane, actually.
Oh, you got it, you got it.
Okay.
MST off the top. MST off the... You gotta be fucking with me, dog! Okay, I'm not gonna lie.
Protagonist powers.
I'm not gonna lie.
Powers.
I played that last one a little fast and loose.
Okay.
This time, I'm taking it serious. You're not getting another
Okay.
one of these. And that's why I'm showing you the tour guide from the underworld first and
That
foremost.
seems like it. I have no response.
All right, I ain't got shit neither. Let's summon the Sangan.
Tour guide is also the best battery man.
You don't, hey, she's all right. All right, so...
Does the bus run on?
Hey, Tour Guide is in this deck, one, because it's like the most convenient dark to run, so you can run BLS since all your monsters are lights. This is going to like fill your grave with darks the fastest. Also, you like banish cards like with your power cell or whatever, or industrial strength. So like you banish your like a lot of your monsters, so you can bring them back with Leviair, which is pretty cool. But even then, like having Sangan and like letting it die and like search microcell against any deck other than Dragunities, it's not that bad because you get a ton of value off your opponent swinging into a microcell. So searching it off Sangan, like just leaving this as your opener, is like really, really good too.
On batteries.
It does. And now you're about to see the best 3 in the game. I'm talking about the one, the only, wind up number 17 Leviathan Dragon. We do not have Zen mains yet, so we're just going to detach the tour guide from the underworld and pass it back to you.
Man, fucking 2011 was a great time, wasn't it?
Is that what you would say? It was a time.
All right.
It was the best time. It was the best time Yu-Gi-Oh ever had. You know, don't be sitting there talking about it like you know. This format is incredible. It is so balanced. The fact that you guys are having a back and forth game right now with battery men just kind of speaks lengths to what the format is, right? Like it has every deck can play so well, and even like MBT coming into this game, like he recognized in the last game he probably could have played better, and so like there's a world where maybe he could have played differently and won, and that's where like the beautiful like complexities of this format are. Like you can like the better you play, like really affects how you win. Like the decks themselves are not like super oppressive or OP. Every deck has like a decent amount of ways to deal with things. So like it just adds so much balance and diversity, and it's so fun. If you haven't played it, play it. It's the best Yu-Gi-Oh ever was, 100%.
Let's start with Cards of Consonance pitching Dragunity Phalanx.
Yeah. Couldn't have drawn
Seems
that
okay.
off the top in the last game. Couldn't have drawn that one.
He always saves his hand with his last card. Like, that Cards of Consonance literally drew him into the ravine, which is just nuts, because now he actually can play the game. Otherwise, his hand was, like, pretty bad.
Could have, yeah. Instead, I'll draw Ravine.
Yeah,
that seems pretty good. Let's try to fire Ravine.
Yeah, nothing here.
I will discard a copy of... I'll get rid of another Phalanx, sure. I don't think I need another one.
Yep.
We will add here, and we're going to add good old ducks.
Yeah.
Okay, so Leviathan's 25. You telling me I have to clear a 2,500 attack monster? Oh no. Activate ducks. This may surprise you. I'm going to target the Phalanx.
Wah! Get him out of there.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's so unlucky for MBT. Like, what are the odds that on the summon of him targeting Phalanx and Grave, and he has the DD Crow out, which is actually, you know, it's a smart side. It was really good. What are the odds that on that summon, he also happened to pitch a second Phalanx and has Monster Reborn in hand? Like, that's like Cimo just has that nutty hand that just can't go wrong. But like, that's so unlucky for MBT, because honestly, he's in such a good spot here. If it wasn't for the fact that he had saw exactly another Phalanx and pitched it and a Monster Reborn, just kind of crazy.
Okay. Anyway.
Reborn the monster. Okay, sure.
Good thing I got that other one.
Oh, good.
Cool. Yeah, good thing, right? Let's sync. Vajrayana.
Yep.
Trigger Vajrayana.
Yep.
Get the Phalanx.
Yep.
No second DD Crow, huh? Oh, that's
no
unfortunate.
second DD Crow.
Oh, all right. So sync again.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't make Stardust because we would just crash. Sadly, that would be too easy. Instead, Scrap's pretty good. Let's switch it up. Let's go for Colossal Fighter. Let's get a big one.
I like the
Fighter
Colossal here.
is
That's a good
fine.
play.
All right, I will take 300 here.
Second main, I've got a back row. Go ahead, buddy.
Standby main. Oh,
See, this is why that spicy tech of emptiness is in here. This is really good because now you got the big beefy boy, you got the emptiness set. It's gonna be like pretty difficult for your opponent to out. You know, this colossal fighter is now like a Christia, right? Like it's a big boy. It's pretty cool.
oh
All
Jesus
good.
Christ. Okay. Normal battery man AAA.
No
Oh,
response.
that's
Would
a
you like
big
to
punish.
activate the effect?
Sadly, yes.
I will activate Vanity's emptiness.
Oh, not only is he like summoning from hand, he gets emptiness here. Like, oh, that feels so bad if you're MBT. I feel so bad for him. That's a rough one.
Well,
I'm so sorry.
you do what you gotta do, buddy.
28.
Mm-hmm.
If only there was a way for me to really capitalize on it.
Oh, I think you're capitalizing fine.
Yeah, that's true. I'll throw it back. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
We'll draw. All right, main one. Not as afraid of microcell now. Let's ravine. I don't think this will turn off emptiness from deck or field, so we're good. I'll pitch Ackley's. Let's grab ourselves copy of ducks.
Yup.
Let's just run out ducks.
Yup.
Trigger.
Yup.
I will equip. I could get Phalanx, but I can't special. So I actually think I kind of want the Ackley's instead. So I'm going to do that. Let's go to battle. I think ducks can clear, so let's try it.
It can.
All right, 28.
Oof.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Avarice. We'll leave AAA.
Sure.
Nice. That's actually really, really good. Wait.
One time heavy.
There's a chance.
He put the AAA back. He said Avarice and we'll leave AAA, but he put that back. Like, leaving AAA is really good because I know he has one in hand, right? Like, he went to summon one and then, like, activated to summon, like, attempted to activate to summon another one from hand. So now he just has, like, a random DD Crow in there, but that AAA is actually, like, super relevant. And DD Crow is actually really relevant to, like, have in your hand. You want to draw that again. So you can prevent, like, anything happening given that you can, like, actually out this board. But that's really sad. I don't think he noticed that.
Back to you.
Yeah, he just left it.
Okay. You're at 21. So if ducks can clear, I just win the game. Battle.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try it.
Yes.
Try for game.
I have book.
Okay. He's not the strongest guy in defense, unfortunately. Second main.
That book's actually huge here because if MBT can summon anything that attacks over this Colossal Fighter, so anything with like above 1,000 attack, if he swings over the Colossal Fighter, it's going to go to Grave, and I'm pretty sure this is how it works, but I don't have a degree in Yu-Gi-Oh! But it would be the Colossal Fighter can't attempt to trigger to like special summon itself because Vanity's Emptiness is on field, and then Vanity's Emptiness would destroy itself. So like, overall, not a bad situation. It's a really good way to out the Colossal Fighter and Emptiness at the same time.
Pass. Go ahead.
Absolutely owned.
Okay. Target.
Ackless.
Sure. So that kills emptiness. I believe this also triggers Ackless.
Ackless is mandatory. Yes.
All right. We'll pop Ravine. That's fine.
Bro,
Let.
stop popping your Ravine, man. You gotta value that card. It's the best card in the deck. You don't want to. Oh, it's so sad. Like, what's this Ducks doing? It's just sitting here.
What the dog doing?
Definitely keep your Ravine alive. You gotta have a moment of silence for all the dead Ravines I've seen in this game.
Let's banish a light and a dark. I'll summon Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning.
Uh-oh.
That's pretty good.
I'm gonna
This is
banish your
going-
set card.
Get owned.
See, this is, like, a lot of people complain about BLS in the format, and I will say BLS is easily one of the strongest cards in this format. But because we have cards like Effect Veiler and Warning, there's plenty of tools. Because now since he, like, activated the effect, and especially, like, when you add back row into the mix, like, BLS has to, like, declare priority in hopes that, like, if they flip, like, a Torrential or something, like, you don't just, like, lose out on value of the card, or, like, a Bottomless. So like you have to declare priority, but if they Veiler, like the condition of it not being able to attack if it banishes still exists, so it just kind of has to sit there. So it's like a really nice way to have like counterplay to the BLS, which is good.
That is so infuriating. Oh.
Yeah, MBT is kind of
Not
feeling the
over
pain.
yet.
He's getting kind of
sacked.
sacked.
Blackluster Soldier Envoy at the beginning for Batteryman Charger.
Would you like to
I
activate?
like the adaptation.
charge?
If
I like
you
it.
have a fucking second Veiler.
I don't have a second Veiler, but I do have Max.
All right, we can work with this. We can work with this.
Okay. Okay.
We are gonna we're gonna summon Fuel Cell,
Makes sense.
and then we're gonna summon Fuel Cell.
Because you have 2 battery men. Yes.
Draw
I am
from
going
FC.
Charger's
to
27.
Fuel Cell, pitching a Fuel Cell to bounce your monster.
Colossal Fighter gone.
He didn't draw off his Max C. If he loses this game, I can't even feel bad for him because he didn't draw off his Max C.
Go to combat. 24.
Okay, so this is 24 into my 17, so I take 7.
And then whatever this is.
That's just 21.
All right, back to you.
Yeah, that does it. Dark Hole.
Well, we tried our hardest. Oh boy.
Legionnaire target phalanx.
Crow the Phalanx.
Okay, okay. I
That does save
don't
it.
have you dead then. 12.
God, I don't ask you for much, but I'm going to need exactly right now a... What do I need? What do I need? What do I need? Oh,
Let's see. He could get the Industrial Strength. That would be a nice top deck. He could get the Tour Guide. That would be very good. Thunder King would also be like insane, especially because they're like Cimo only has 2 terraforming and 1 ravine left in deck. So like, if you see the Thunder King, you prevent your opponent from getting the terraform like that from the terraforming from functioning, which like is really good, and even prevents him from searching off ravine. So like, really good. Yeah, I think all those cards are nuts. Even like the Charger would be really good, like the Monster Reborn, just to get a big beater on field. There's a lot of stuff he could get. Microcell's not bad just for getting some extra card advantage, like crawling your way back after like, you know, you're down like 3 cards.
oh God, I'm struggling to figure out what actually does this. BLS. No, he's engrave. Get me a...
Industrial strength would be pretty good.
Yeah, get me an industrial strength. Yeah. That's not bad. That's not
Okay,
bad.
Thunder
That's
King.
not bad. That's not bad. So I take 7 here. Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
That's an asshole card for sure. Shit. This is kind of a problem. All right, I'll set a pair and pass.
Oh, stand by main.
Yeah,
Wah.
phalanx.
I don't like it. Set. Back to you.
Draw. That's
Uh-oh.
pretty terrible because you have Ryo. Go.
Stand by main. Combat.
Oh, good. 19's fine.
Second main. Go.
Draw. Oh, crap. Good. I will set 1. Throw it to you.
Stand by me.
Mhm.
I'll just attack
It's
you.
over.
It is Veiler.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Please.
Oh my
I
God.
will set 1. and
Tragic.
Pass.
Heavy.
I will
Oh.
chain MST to your back row.
Nice.
No response.
Okay. It's that and Judgment.
Oh God. All right. Battery charger.
With 900 life left. Are you fucking kidding me?
Give me the fuel cell.
My God.
Give me the fuel cell. I'm gonna try for it. Oh.
Heavy reveal.
Cimo just misplayed this game really hard. I think he realistically should have won if he had played correctly. But again, not valuing your ravines is really going to cost you in the long run if you let that stuff go. So yeah, that was kind of the consequence of the action.
How did I lose this one?
Yes!
I know how.
How did I fucking lose that game? I'm fucking livid. The only thing is maybe
Look at that satisfied smile on MBT's face. He's like, yeah, I just won with battery, man. That is how it feels. It does feel really good to win with that deck.
instead of with Ackley's trigger, if I popped my own ducks instead of Ravine, then I could have closed the game out a little bit quicker.
Oh.
I
Hey,
also
at
like
least
how
he
Ravine
figured
is
it
already
out.
on the field. It's already preordained. But
Oh, please.
Good luck, I guess.
That's a really good starting
Oh my
hand.
god, come on. All right, that's pretty good. Cards of Consonants, pitch Phalanx.
Oh, dang.
Oh
That's
my
really
god,
excellent.
that's so good. That
I
opening is
guess
nuts.
We keep going.
Bro, Cimo's been like sacking the shit out of MBT this series. Like, what the heck? Like, he like literally every hand has looked bad, and then his last draw makes it good, and then he just like sees everything he needs, and it's like totally fine.
Ravine. It's
But
already
that
on the
speaks
field.
lengths to the strength of this deck.
Ravine,
Honestly,
I
this
will
deck is not
pitch
bad.
Another
Pitch the card of
cards
consonants.
of
Yeah.
consonants.
Sure.
I will grab ducks.
Yup.
Attempt to get DD crowed.
Attempt successful.
Nice.
Fuck. All right, that's pretty bad. Okay, 1, 2, over to you, and get fucked, buddy. Let's see it.
Well, the joke's on you. My hand sucks. Here you go.
Ugh.
Maxi Honest AAA Charger.
His hand does suck.
Judgment?
That's really bad.
You weren't kidding. Your hand does kind of suck.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
There's so many good openers in Batterymen. You have like Thunder King, you have Tour Guide, you have Microcell, all of which are like 2 to 3 ofs in the deck. You have so like really good odds of like seeing a like powerful opener in this with this deck, which like is what makes it like decently viable. He literally saw none of them. Well, Cimo saw like everything, which is pretty sad.
Deal.
What is
I'm honestly wondering why he didn't max C instead of crowing the Phalanx. Because in reality, it's gonna stop the play just the same. But like with your hands this bad, you really need to draw something. Like max C's not doing you any favors right now.
the biggest problem in this hand? I think I get rid of Maxi just because I can go off next turn. I don't really care about the rest of your hand.
Wait a minute. Let's do another reading lesson, everybody. Activate only if your opponent has 4 more cards in their hand. Check, that happened. Look at your opponent's hand. That also happened. Select 1 monster card in it and return that card to its owner's deck. That Maxi is currently in the graveyard. The more you know.
So the set is Judgment.
Yep.
Seems all right. Let's go ahead and declare Ravine, pitch Legionnaire. I will dump Phalanx. Just get him out of here. Let's go Battle 17.
Yeah, sure.
And that's it.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Stand by main. The Maxi. That's agony. Go ahead.
I also
Setting-
feel like he should have maybe set the AAA on the last turn. Because, like, it's actually fine to have that card in graveyard. And, like, worst case scenario, he could, like, use his Charger in hand to special summon back the AAA, normal the Honest, and then make, like, a Roach. And Roach is going to, like, nicely defend against Cimo's like ability to make synchro plays. Like Cimo has outs for sure, but like I mean MBT doesn't know that. Either way, I still think it's like probably worth going for when your hand's as bad as it is.
AAA potentially. I'll draw. Let's see if that's what it is.
It is AAA.
Okay. Flip AAA.
Yeah.
I will overlay. I'm on the Utopia.
That's why we got that one
If you wanna
Utopia
make
in there.
Utopia, that is fine with me.
I will go ahead and declare Ravine.
That's fine.
pitching Ackley's.
Yes.
I will add Ducks to hand.
Uh-huh.
I will normal Ducks. Declare Ducks.
No problem.
We'll get the Phalanx.
Mhm.
Phalanx effect.
Right.
Battle 5,
Yup.
19,
Yup.
25. You at 14. Okay. Main 2. So I could sink here. Like, I know you have Judgment. Then you only have to pay 7. That gets you pretty low. That doesn't get you out of Charger range, sadly, as much as I would like it to. Honestly, I think I just stick with this.
Stand by main. Well, that is very interesting.
I feel like it's like worth to out the Judgment, like force the Judgment. Like you already have board control with the Utopia, and you're already in like a pretty winning position. But hypothetically speaking, if like MBT were to like summon a big monster or something and attack, and like you want this D prison to resolve to like protect your Utopia, which I mean he can like protect itself. It's just kind of like a weird situation, but like I think forcing it at a time where you know it's going to happen rather than allowing him to like use it at his like choice of time, I think is better, right? Like because you're not really losing out much, and again you can just search another Ducks off of Ravine next turn.
Interesting. I'm going to activate Reborn, targeting Aeglis.
Also, technically, he would have forced the Solemn there and done more damage if he forced the Solemn. Otherwise, he could have used the Vajrayana's effect to double its attack. And I think that would have been game or close to it. But I don't think MBT would want that to go through.
Chain Maxi.
Tragic.
Oh my god. Okay, no problem. I'm going to normal honest.
That is fine. Sinking.
Yeah. We'll make Brio here.
Rio?
Let's go Brio effect. I'm going to pitch... Oh, man. Microcell, target Utopia. Will...
The Utopia
go to
exploded.
battle, walk into Ducks.
I want to get this judgment out of you now.
Yeah, well, there it is.
Okay. So I'll take 4 here. Because he's 19.
And then back
You know,
to
Dux is a lot better when you remember his first effect.
God, he's unreal.
All right, main one. You have used everything that no, the last card in hand is the battery charger, so I do know everything. Okay, I think we can clear this up. We'll go Ravine. We'll just pitch duality. Let's get a Dux. Normal Dux. Got some stuff engraved. Doesn't really matter too much, but we'll declare him. We'll put Ackley's in the back. Sync. Go for our Vajrayana. Trigger Ackley's. Pop Brio.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty much
yep,
game.
You got it.
Yep.
Ooh. Wow.
Oh, that's a rough one.
Yeah, like, I want to say that Dragunity's crazy, but I sort of drew, like, insane all 3 games.
Yeah,
nuts.
that's the thing with Dragunity is when you draw Ravine, it feels like just straight up unbeatable, right?
Right.
Like, every turn you get to threaten an 8-star synchro. You've got like this really competent draw engine and the cards of consonants and stuff. When you don't draw Ravine, it's the worst deck ever printed.
True.
But just draw Ravine. How hard is it?
Right. I mean, you have 3 Ravine. Terraforming's still at 3. You're playing cards of consonants to just ditch your tuners to get deeper
And
into the
duality.
deck that way. The deck wasn't maining Max C, but I brought them in out of the board just because, A, it's more ways to get to Ravine, but B, it also slows you down immensely as well. And aside from that, there are some, like, other cards that are... Like, you have enough defensive cards to slow the game down, hopefully, till you get Ravine. But, yeah, the deck just feels like it sort of like lives or dies on the back of Ravine. I mean, it just felt unreal. Your deck, we got to see some cool things it could do, but like we didn't really get to see, aside from the play when you went Charger and then double Fuel Cell, that was like the extent of it. Typically the Batteryman experience is that you're doing that almost every game under most circumstances, but I think until the
He's
release
making
of
the face too.
9-volt a lot later
Not
on,
really.
the deck is a lot less explosive by comparison.
Well, yes, it does have the capacity to do OTKs, but largely you're not during this period.
Yeah, that's correct.
The problem is this is a build of Batteryman that's just a little too early. The AAAs are kind of the heart and soul of the deck. You want to get them into rotation with stuff like the fuel cells. And
Well, OTKs are even like not very common for this format as a whole. Like there's so many defensive tools within the hand, like Trag, Maxi, Valor, that this game really has to be played out a bit more grindy and a bit more like strategically. So rarely are you going to see those like big pushes for a game on like a single turn. And even then, like Batteryman like doesn't have like insane capabilities to like make those quote unquote OTKs happen. They just like can do a decent amount of damage in a single turn. I guess with like BLS it's possible, but for the most part this deck doesn't like OTK like crazy.
the payoff for those is like Constellar Omega, Satellar Knight Delteros, all of the really cool rank 4s that are playable throughout Yu-Gi-Oh's history. At this point, the deck is on Roach, on Utopia, and on Zen mains. And that's it.
That's it.
That's all there is. So it's like this weird chaos rank 3, rank 4 strategy that's just not quite there. I will say the first game I think was very winnable for me, but I did play it kind of poorly. But I think games 2 and 3, I was pretty much shut out the whole time. The fact that I won game 2 was kind of a miracle, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it was very entertaining for the audience's perspective. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Ugh.
So, guys, that's
Yeah, I mean, overall, I thought the matches were pretty cool. Like I said, I think the biggest thing that I really like that they recognize is like both of them kind of acknowledge that like, hey, we could have played better. I honestly wish I could have seen the match from MBT's point of view because I want to see like how he piloted Batteryman. He said he like played a little too loose in game 1, which is probably correct. Like I it's like hard to see without seeing their hand, but yeah, overall, like I thought it was like pretty cool. It just kind of speaks length to the format. Like overall, that matchup was like pretty back and forth, pretty grindy, and like skill definitely added into the mix of like how well they played. Although I will say Cimo did like draw really nutty and like pretty sacky. For like, you know, all of those games, like he really saw like almost like most ideal hand in every scenario. Like the fact that he had Book of Moon with the Ravine play game 1 is just crazy. Like against the turn 1 Thunder King. Like normally Thunder King would cause more issues than that, but just having the immediate out was crazy. But yeah, I think overall that wraps it up for this episode. I'm glad to see them using my decks, and I really hope they use more in the future. But thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and have a great time dueling today.